Hey y'all, back again for another workout. This time it's chest and biceps. I already did the warm-up sets and the work set for the left arm, so I'm going to do the crossover for the right arm, um, and then I'll talk about it some when I get done. All right, that's it. So there's all kinds of ways to do a crossover. If you're at the gym and you got both sides, you can do it this way. You can kind of change position of your upper body, and it might focus a little bit more on a certain area of your chest. And then, I've done it before too, where I put the handle down at the bottom and kind of come up. So you can do low to high or high to low. And again, just depending on that angle, how the arm's moving, you'll get different areas. For me, when I go low to high, I seem to feel a little bit more upper chest and in my front delt. Um, right now, I'm just kind of trying to find a position where I feel pretty much my entire chest working, not trying to focus on any specific area. So that kind of position here and kind of coming more towards the middle seems to work pretty well. When I am doing it kind of high to low, I don't tend to feel anything in my front delt. I'm sure a lot of people do. That's just me. So that's why I think you need to play around with it some, see kind of what works best for you, and kind of what your goal is. Trying to work entire chest. Maybe you're trying to get more front delt, or maybe you're trying to get just a certain part of the chest a little bit more. So you can kind of change things up with that. But I like doing this kind of first now because it helps to pre-fatigue my chest a little bit. That way, when I go to do the dumbbell presses next, the weight doesn't have to be quite as high, so it's easier to get into position and different things like that. So let me rest some, and then we'll move on to the incline dumbbell press. All right, I'm going to do one warm-up set here just to kind of grease the groove on that pressing motion. All right, it's one more than last week after increasing the weight on the crossover. So not a bad progression. All right, slight decline. Got one more rep on that one too. It's awkward getting in position though. All right, hammer curls are next. Oh, that burns. I got 2 more reps than last week. All right, concentration curls are next. Oh, that hurts. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about preacher curls. I got the camera set up so you can see my arm more when I'm doing the exercise rather than see me. But I don't like going all the way down to a completely straight elbow. I feel like it's just too much stress, too much of a stretch on the bicep. I've seen a lot of people get hurt doing that. So I like to keep a slight bend in the elbow at the bottom. And then at the top, not going too far, because if you go too far, you actually take the pressure off the biceps. It's just a point where gravity changes and then the biceps aren't working anymore. So again, down mostly straight, but a slight bend. Coming up, like right in there. If I go more, pretty much the stress is off the bicep. All right, got 1 more rep than last week. I got 2 more on the concentration curls too. So pretty good progress this week. All right, that's it for this morning. So that's chest and biceps done. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I've had to switch up kind of the plan a few times. There was time where I was hoping to work out 5 times a week. Unfortunately, things were just too busy to be able to do that. And then went back to the kind of Stuart McRoberts hard gainer routine, and I did that for a while. I can't remember now, 10, 12 weeks. So I mean, it worked really well. I was getting stronger, adding weight to the bar. I kept gaining some weight too, just like I did when I tried that years and years ago. So it worked well, and then just kind of ran it as full course. It gets hard to, after a while, to keep adding weight and doing those 20 rep sets. I was going to do the 20 rep deadlift bar deadlifts on lower body day with this program, but when I was trying that day, just something didn't feel right. So I only did like 5 reps or something with 350, and then changed it over to the belt squat. So I'll do that lower body workout on Thursday, and I'll film that because I wasn't able to film it last week, but that way you can see things. One other thing with the crossover, kind of like we talked about with the bicep, I do like at least having a slight bend in the elbow. You can do it straight and come across, that's fine. And I mean, if there's some movement in the elbow where it bends a little bit and then straightens some, that's fine. I just don't think you want to do this, because then you're turning into a pressing movement, and the point is to be more of a fly type movement. So some change in the elbow is fine here, but if we're just basically doing this, we're just pressing, we're not doing that fly. So that's, I guess, the last little tip for that. Hopefully Stormy hasn't been too distracting. She's been kind of loud, either meowing or playing with some different things that are rattling around, but sure you probably have seen her running along the ground. But thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll see you on Thursday when I do the lower body workout. Bye.